On page 18, number 6, it says 7x squared minus 8x plus 1. Where you have a coefficient of x squared besides 1, they suddenly take a new dimension in terms of the trial and error process you have to use in order to find out how to factor this. Now this is not a hard one because it doesn't have very many possibilities, but there's no common factor, is there? No common factor, so we'll start off. Now, what would you do to get 7x squared? It have to be 7x times 1x, right? There's no other way to do that. 7x times x. And that would give you the 7x squared. Now, the last times last. I want to go to the last times last, which is going to be 1. Now, there's only one way to get 1, isn't there? 1 times 1. And then you have to have the signs, what? The same or different? Same sign. And they both have to be negative, so that would make this a negative and a negative. Negative, negative. Okay? And that's it. Does it check? What's the outer times outer? 7x. What's the inner times inner? 1x. That is negative 7x and negative 1x. And when you add those together, you get negative 8x. Do you see how that works? All right? Now, they're not going to stay easy like that. You're going to have more combination numbers to work on. So if you'll turn over to a more, now let's take go to page 21, number 46. Page 21, number 46. And the problem I'd like to do is 5x squared plus 13x plus 8. Okay? Now, we'll start with two sets of parentheses, and first times first is going to be none other than what? 5x times 1x. That'll get you 5x squared, won't it? Okay? And now we go to the last times last. Last times last would be the what? 8. So we're trying to get two numbers whose product is 8. And that will be either 1 times 8. Now this is the possibilities of 8. 1 times 8 or what? 2 times 4. Let me use a shortcut here. I want to show you a shortcut that has to do with trinomial factoring. Anytime you have an odd number in the middle term, you cannot use an even-even combination. Because you see, if I were to put 2, 4 here, that would make the outer times outer even, and the inner times inner even, and it would never add up to an odd number in the middle. So if you ever have an odd number in the middle, this combination, because it's even, is out. And that means there's only one possibility, and that would be the 1 times 8. Now if you put, does it matter where you put the 1 and the 8? Yes, it does. If you put the 8 down here and the 1 up front, that would give you outer times outer, 5 times 8, which would be what? 40x. So you see, that's not going to work, is it? That's not going to be anywhere near 13x. Way too much. So what do we do instead of having 8 down at the end? Put the 8 up front and the 1 at the end. Now what do you have for the outer times outer? 5x. And the inner times inner? 8x. And if you make them both plus, you'll have a total of 13x. Do you see how that works? All right? All right. As one, no, I'll do one more. Number 52 on that same page. Number 52 on that same page. Okay? Number 52, it says 5x squared. 5x squared minus 6x minus 8. So we'll start off with what? Two sets of parentheses. And start with what? 5x times 1x. Now what? What about the 8? Should we try 4, 2? 4, 2? All right. 4 and 2. And does that, and now what does this negative sign right here signify? This negative sign tells you that the signs will be different, and then we'll be subtracting the numbers in order to end up with 6, negative 6. So if you put the 4 here and the 2 there, let's see. Now that's just a wild guess, isn't it? The only trouble is it's a wild guess. I think it's going to work. And sometimes your wild guess will work, and sometimes you have to try all different combinations until you get the right one. So this is, remember, this is a trial and error process. The outer times outer would give you what? 10x. The inner times inner would give you 4x. And can you subtract these numbers and get 6? Yes. So how are you going to subtract them to get a negative 6? We'll have to have what? Negative 10 and positive 4. So that's going to make this a positive 4, and a negative 2 times a 5x would be a negative 10x. Do you see that? Okay. So that's the right combination. I wish we hadn't gotten that one so fast. That might have been too fast. Let's try one more on this section, and I want to show you another shortcut on this one. You're going to need some shortcuts on this one because number 68, by the way, the back page of this handout is full of problems that have a lot of combinations. The back page is going to be a good challenge. If you need some good challenging problems, spend your time on that back page. It says 6x squared minus 13x minus 8. And we're trying to find a way to factor this thing. Now, first thing is that 6x squared, there are two ways that we might have to do this. One way would be with 3x 2x. And the other way, if this doesn't work, then we're going to have to try 6x and 1x. You see, there are two ways to get it to come out to 6x squared. I don't know which one it is, so we just have to try one and see. Let's start with the 3x 2x. Now, I want to try the combinations of 8. Now, what were the combinations of 8? 8 times 1, 1 times 8, and 2 times 4. Now, what about the 2-4 combination? We already know that one's out. That one can't be. It's got to be 1-8 or 8-1. Now, let me tell you this. It can't be 8 here and 1 there. It cannot be 8 here. Because, you see, there was no common factor to begin with in this problem, was there? If there had been a common factor to begin with, we'd have taken it out first. So look at this. If you put the 8 right here, you're going to have 2x plus 8 or minus 8. There would be a common factor of 2 in the answer. And if there's no common factor in a problem, there can't be a common factor in the answer. So that can't be. You can't put it there. So that means it's going to be a 1 here and an 8 here if this combination is going to work. So the only way this is going to work is this way. Is that going to work?
No.
What's it going to? What's the outer? How do we check it? Outer times outer would be 3x. Inner times inner would be 16x. Are we adding or subtracting? Why? How do we know we're subtracting? Because the negative 8, right? So we are subtracting. That means it's going to have to be which one negative?
16.
Negative 16. So we'll make it a negative 8 and a positive 1, which makes a positive 3x. And sure enough, it gives you negative 13x. Okay, is that clear? All right. So in other words, that's some samples of factoring a trinomial. So I think we've done a little practicing with factoring common factors and factoring trinomials, and now we're ready to jump into